Okay, this is Coach Dez here. Next on the board, Broncos versus the Bills. So let's talk about the Broncos first. Offense. They average 28 runs per game. They're strong when it's passing to the right at 62.6% pass completion. Down the middle, they average 57.3% pass completion. To the left, they average 64.8% pass completion. He's been sacked 25 times, 8 interceptions, and there's been 15 forced fumbles on offense as well as 2 safeties. Defense, on the other hand, gives up 25.6 runs per game. They are at their weakest when it's passing down the middle at 69.2% pass completion. That's what they give up. They also give up 59.1% pass completion to the right and 58.7% pass completion to the left. They've sacked the quarterback 67 times, 15 interceptions, and 21 forced fumbles on defense. The Bills, on the other hand, offense averaged 30 runs per game. They strong when they're passing down the middle at 64% pass completion. They average 54% pass completion to the right and 65.2% pass completion to the left. He's been sacked 17 times, 6 interceptions, and 14 forced fumbles on offense. Defense, on the other hand, gives up 26.4 runs per game. They are at their weakest when it's passing to the middle. They give up 66.1% pass completion. To the left, they give up 67.7% pass completion, and they only give up 36.6% pass completion to the right. They've sacked the quarterback 40 times, 17 interceptions, and 29 forced fumbles on defense, as well as 1 safety. So there could be a safety in this game. This game also is an impact game. Yes, it's going to be cold and it's going to be very strong winds. I do not see this game being passed because of the fact that the winds are going to be strong, and it's going to be cold there. They're saying is that if it's over 15 miles an hour, which it is supposed to be, that means this ball, if you're throwing against the wind, could fall short and into the hands of the other receiver. If your back is against the wind and it's pushing it, you're going to throw it long and it's going to sail over that person's head and into the arms of another receiver. So I think this is more of a rushing game than a passing game. So I want to talk about sacks, interceptions, and fumbles. Broncos he has 11 sacks in the second. Let me put it this way. He averages 1.5 sacks per game, 0.71 interceptions, and 0.88 fumbles, along with 2 safeties. So I said that the Broncos sacks will be in the second and third quarter, because he has 11 sacks in the second quarter and 6 sacks in the third quarter. But they both could also come out of the second quarter. I also put down that there will possibly be a fumble in the second quarter, along with an interception in the fourth quarter, trying to get back into the game. So he has 4 interceptions in the fourth quarter, but there's 4 fumbles in the first quarter, 4 fumbles in the second quarter, 4 fumbles in the third quarter, and 3 in the fourth quarter. And the 2 safeties came out of the second quarter. So yes, that is something to keep in mind. Now the Bills, on the other hand, he's been sacked the most in the second quarter. He has 6 sacks in the second quarter, but there's been 5 interceptions in the second quarter. Fumbles, the most fumbles were in the first quarter. So that's 6. So let's talk about, because the Bills average 1 sack per game, 0.35 interceptions, and 0.82 fumbles. So I'll show you what that score looked like after I give you the, well, I can't do that because you'll see it. So let's talk about Broncos rushing first quarter. They averaged 7 carries for 30 yards. The Bills averaged 7 carries for 28 yards. So now, I'm going to just quick tell you this. If you know that your team is going to, my son does the parlay for first quarters only, and I just happened to do the anytime touchdowns with the Bills. Yes, I did put Josh Allen for a touchdown. I didn't say it was going to happen in the first quarter. I just said anytime. So, you have to think about who's playing who and where they're playing at, what is the conditions, and yes, will it happen or not happen? And don't put it all in the first quarter. Kind of say anytime. I think that's a safer bet if you want to do that. Anyway, let's move along. Broncos second quarter they average 6.2 carries for 26 yards. The Bills average 6.3 for 39.5 yards. Third quarter, Broncos average 6.6 carries for 28.6 yards. The Bills average 7.4 for 34.6 yards. Fourth quarter, Broncos average 8 carries for 30 yards. The Bills average 11 carries for 30 yards. Again, this game is an impact game. With the wind conditions and the temperatures dropping, I don't see a whole lot of passing in this game. So these numbers could change. Broncos average 28 carries for 114 yards. The Bills have 31 carries for 131 yards. Passing for the Broncos, first quarter, 5 for 8 for 48 yards. The Bills is 5 for 7 for 48.6 yards. Broncos in the second quarter, 7 for 11 for 70 yards. Bills is 6 for 11 for 73 yards. Broncos in the third quarter is 7 carries for 29 yards. The Bills is 5 for 8 for 65 yards. Broncos is 8 carries in the fourth quarter for 30 yards. Oh, I'm sorry. I've been giving you that all wrong, haven't I? 7 for 11 in the second quarter for 70 yards. Third quarter is 4 for 8 for 43 yards. And I did that one correct. Fourth quarter is 6 for 9 for 59.5 yards. The Bills average 4 for 7 for 46 yards. The Broncos final is 22 for 35 for 220.6 yards. The Bills is 19.6 for 33 yards. For 19.6 for 32.6 tries for 233.3 yards. Total yards. The Broncos will have a total of 335 yards. I think that's going to be on a little low side. The Bills have a total of 364.8 yards. I think that also is going to be on the low side, considering that this is an impact game. I don't see them putting up a total of 47 points. So please keep that in mind when you do bet. So I'm going to show you what I think the final score going to be. So as you can see, for sacks, interceptions, and fumbles, I got the Bills for a fumble in the first quarter. I have the Broncos with a sack and fumble in the second quarter. The Bills with a sack in the first quarter. Again, second quarter. Again, this all could happen in one quarter or multiple quarters. Sack for the Broncos in the third quarter, along with that is an interception for in the fourth quarter for the Broncos. So now let's look at this first quarter score. Broncos average 3.6 in the first. Bills average 5.5. You got to remember, Bills do get off to a slow start. I don't know why. This game could be tied in the first quarter, but second quarter, 8.9, 8.7. This game will be tied at halftime. Then the Broncos slow down. Third quarter, Broncos average 4.4. Bills is 8.5. It will be tied in the fourth quarter, 8 or 10-10, however that work out to be. But this score is 25 Broncos, 30.9 or 31 for the Bills. I see the Bills winning this game by 6. And with that being said, peace out.